This paper, I think, it's not about it's not related to the machine learning or the computer something. It's just I think it's the idea from the viewpoint of psychology. And in this paper, they first, what is the consciousness and the artificial intelligence, and then how they connect it with the together in the AI. And here, I think the paper here they have four main idea. The first one, the author they argue that the AI is I mean here the artificial general intelligence is not impossible, is not possible. And the second idea here, the brain mind is not purely logical, and it must be quantum. And the last one, Fourier experience and arise without collapse in of the wave function. So in the first idea, uh, the author they tell that why why they think the AI that's similar to human is impossible, because here they use the idea of the affordance. We human we have the just see ability. It means that for example when we use a hammer, and we know that this hammer is used for s- for workmen. But in case that we don't have that hammer, but we use a shoe or something hard, we can also use it as a hammer. And this is just our unique ability of human. And the AI, it cannot have that. The the example in this paper, they suggest the similar example of the jury rigging. And yes, sorry. And the author they told that because the difference here, because the AI they depends on the calculation, on the set theory, and they based on the algorithm. It means that the AI they have the rules, they have the induction, the abduction, and deduction rules. But this idea, we in human we have more than that. And our human ability now currently cannot be implemented in the AI. So I think this is just the rest of this is the author try to explain what I told. And here they argue that maybe we are classical, that this they mention we are classical analog computers, but finally they think that this is not correct, because the human we have the ability to see, to observe, to decide. And this is not true in the computer vision. So I think the main idea of this paper is this part. The brain mind is quantum, but actually, because I'm not in this field, so I'm not really understand the quantum theory here. But when I read this paper, as I understand the quantum, is in physics. It's just when we study the physics, the quantum, it has the many possible uh the the atom. When we say about the quantum theory, the atom they have all the possibility of the position. And this position, when we think about it, we call it the superposition, and there's no there's no exactly which position of that atom, but when we measure that the position, then it's like the theory of the Palaf, the wave function. It means that when the position of the atom is only occur when we do the measurement. So sorry, I will try to explain it. The it means that the quantum here is the mechanism that the brains can manage to be so adaptable and iterating the sensory data, and the the quantum mechanism can be used to they use it as supporting the consciousness that the classical model cannot fully explain. And our brain is like the brain mind system. We we do not obey the classical physics, but we obey the more uh, quantum theory. So this is, and in the last part, the author they mentioned that if we want to imitate the AI uh, similar to human, we need to think about the quantum theory. It means that, for example, here they do not the cell. It do not they have many uh, sorry uh, uh, sorry, I'm not because this theory I'm not very familiar with this theory, so it's a really hard for me to explain. But the other they just want to say that we need to think about the AI that is more like the biology in uh, in a more same way as the quantum theory, and with uh, it means that the AI is must consider on the possible probability, and when the event occurs, it can handle that. It can it can think, and it can estimate, and like, like that. Okay. So I think that is the content of this paper. It's just say that the currently the AI is far from what we can think. Currently AI is wonderful, but it's it's not like human, and we cannot we cannot make an AI become human. Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I also felt this paper, especially the quantum power of this paper, a little bit tricky to understand.
Yeah. So I found some work referred to this the quantum part is at least not safe to be based on it. So like the global scale telepathy or something. So that kind of work are at least not safe to be based on. So
Yes.
and so and that kind of work is also different from the Chia-san's approach to or Chia-san's approach to quantum-like phenomena, quantum-like qualia hypothesis or something. So because they do not assume that kind of physical basis, or physical quantum basis to, yeah. Does it make sense? So
Physical quantum basis, yes, I can, yes, it makes sense.
And so the reason why I chose to join this session is that as I said, I published a paper about the category theoretic approach to the understanding of the notion of affordance. And in that paper, I refer to their paper, or the author's paper, "The World is Not a Theorem," which argues that the set theory-based mathematics cannot formalize the notion of affordance because the possible use of tools, possible use of X to accomplish Y is indefinite, and we cannot define the whole set of such kind of possible use of tools of X to accomplish Y. And yeah, and so for my part, I can by and large agree with their arguments about the limitation of set theoretic approach for the formalization of affordance. But so and in this paper, they connect that kind of limitation of set theoretic mathematics, set theoretic mathematics to with the the limitation of the universal UTM based artificial intelligence or something, and the problem of qualia or problem of consciousness. And that's the reason why I chose to join the session, this session. And as I read this paper, I feel what I found, what I felt is like, so they are very critical of the set theoretic and reductionist approach to the understanding of affordance. But it seems to me that they are, at the same time, they are also very bound to that kind of set theoretic or reductionist approach, because so they are like, so set theoretic mathematics is the only game in town or something. And so if you cannot, take a reductionist approach, that's the end of the story. But that's not but I think that's not the whole story. So we can take another way. So that might be a category theoretic approach. And this kind of and this kind of feeling is also true of their commitments to the literally quantum mind hypothesis or something, because maybe it's our mind or our consciousness or our experience can have some kind of quantum-like feature, but I think that does not. I think, and as Tsuchiya-san argues, I think that does not mean that the physical basis of consciousness is substantially quantum. And their commitments to the microscopic level their commitments to the quantum nature of consciousness at the microscopic level is very similar to their commitments to that kind of their reductionist approach or something. So that's my that's my feeling of this paper.
Thank you. Actually, I think that I'm not sure about why they argue that we cannot make the AI, because I think I believe that every events happen around us in this world is based on the rules, and maybe because we don't have enough rules for the AI, if we have I'm not sure about the can we make all the possible rules for the AI?
What do you mean by what kind of rule?
For example, is the on the induction, deduction, and abduction rule we use in our logic. Can we create all that rules? For example, X to Y, the book for reading, the book can be used for everything. If we can define all the rules, the AI will be more human.
So from my understanding, the reason why they argue that we cannot create that kind of rule-based universal or AGI is that we cannot define the whole set of that kind of rule, or we cannot predefine that kind of rules to induct some pre-existing affordance to another more novel affordances, and maybe we can define that kind of rule retrospectively after some kind of innovation or some kind of a finding of a new affordance is achieved. But that kind of rule is not predefined, and that I think that is their commitments about this problem. So yes, and by and large, I can agree with them in that point, because if you can induct some kind of novel thing by just following the predefined rule or predefined law or predefined function or something, that is not I think that is not a genuine innovation. So this is just a kind of as the author says, this is just a kind of extension of the predefined or old thing or pre-existing thing, and that I think that kind of thing cannot explain the innovations which our biological history has done in a history of the evolution from and that is my understanding. So
Yeah, I agree with you, especially for example in humans where can you imagine a color that you cannot you have never seen, because the rule of our cone and then the rod in our eyes is predefined by biologically, so we are also be framed in a framework and algorithm. That's what I'm thinking by reading this paper. And another thing is they argue the affordance that as a biomark or benchmark of consciousness. So can we can we go back to say if a creature that have no affordance, then they have no consciousness, and then if we reverse that, if that's so applying, I don't know. So I feel a little bit weird that they argue only one variable, which is the affordance, as the benchmark of consciousness. And then I look into this author's background, which is Kaufman, and I found he is a famous guy in biology, but not in.
yeah. So I know him. I know him, and I know his works. So like the self-organization works. So he's theoretical biologist, and he's very famous theoretical biologist. But he is also interested in some kind of this kind of physics, or the world, what he calls world beyond physics, and that is the title of his last book. And I think that book, the world beyond physics, is more modest one and a more reasonable one. So and it is worth reading. But I've but in this paper they make a strong commitment to that kind the literally quantum feature of mind or brain or you know, qualia, and I cannot agree. I'm not sure, but at present I cannot totally agree with. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree. And then also from the logic I failed for this paper is that in the first several part they are trying to find some classical theory of mathematical to explain affordance of this kind of phenomenon in those creature, and then they found, oh, it is not possible using classical theory, and then
Yes.
they just abide to the quantum theory. I don't know why they choose quantum. So you say that, oh, we can also test maybe categorical theory is more is a promising explanation. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't discuss this kind of mathematical theory.
So yeah, and so yeah, actually, so the in one book, Kaufman mentioned to the category theoretic approach, but he says that the category theory is also the limitation of a set theoretic approach is also true of category theoretic approach, because we have to define the whole set. First, we have to define the whole set of possibility or something. But it I I think it is partly true, but that is not. I think that is not the end of the whole story. So yeah, I think it is true that we cannot define the whole set of possibility in the first place, but that is not the end of the story. We can do more. We can do more things. Some like the relationship between the and yeah, we category theoretic approach or something, or the structural similarity between the two limited things or something. Yeah. And so, and as of the relationship between affordance and consciousness that you mentioned, so my understanding is like, so if you assume that the consciousness is a product of our evolutionary history, so evolution is kind of it is about the adaptation to the coming input or coming inputs, right? So
Yes.
the adaptation for the to the
External world, for example.
yeah, external world, and adaptation to of how you respond to the external world correctly or adaptively or something. And if you assume that kind of evolutionary history of sensory motor contingency or something relates to the emergence of emergence of consciousness or something that kind of the connection between the consciousness of affordance is not so far, but I agree with you in the sense that affordance is not the affordance is not enough for the test benchmark for the existence of affordance. So and yeah, and my opinion is like consciousness is more about the competition between multiple different affordances, or comparison between multiple different affordances or something. But yeah. But just this is just my hypothesis.
Very interesting. If we understand affordance as a every possible or multiple possibility, then That kind of makes sense. And then you say that affordance and conscious are not mutually exclusive. Yes, I agree.
Mhm.
Um, and here the consciousness I mentioned or the qualia is the content of consciousness, which is, for example, the
Mhm.
redness of red. And then
Mhm.
uh, I'm looking at you, meeting with you, the face, your face is in my content of consciousness, right? So for the affordance, I have a feeling that it is kind of in the behavioral aspect rather than phenomenal aspect. Yes. How do you guys see this question?
Yes, actually, I'm not quite understand the term of consciousness, consciousness. And when I read this paper, I think that this is the same as affordance. When you,
Mhm.
because I'm not in this field, I just think that consciousness is the look up we observe, we behavior, and it's just like that. It's the affordance.
Then you get better understanding after this
Yes,
discussion. Yeah.
yes.
Because
Now I know that the consciousness is more than that. It's not only what we behave, but also, as you mentioned, how I look and, for example, I how my red inside my head.
yeah, regarding
So
conscious,
yeah, so can I say something? So I think the point is that maybe we cannot divide sheerly between the or clearly between the behavioral aspect of our our mind and phenomenal aspect of our mind. So and if we divide them clearly, we cannot understand. Maybe we cannot understand the phenomenal aspect of our mind because it is kind of black box or something. So and so and one possible idea or one possible approach to that kind of seemingly black box kind of phenomenal aspect of our mind is like the kind of approach from the behavior aspect or something. And 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 that's yeah. And so yes, and as you mentioned, with each affordance is related to uh, it's related to the content of phenomenon, content of our experience or content of our phenomena, and I think that is true. But I've what I think I also think that so again the comparison or the competition between different affordances can be related to the existence or the consciousness itself because it needs some kind of integration of informations from different modality or different aspect of the situation or something, and we have to and if there are competing affordances that cannot if there are competing affordances in the world, we have to make a decision what to do next in the next time step. So and that kind of aspect that kind of decision making can be related to kind of integrated information or integration of information from different modality to the global or as or the mind as a whole or something. So and yeah, that's a comment.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Just one point I want to mention is that yes, the functional or the behavior. I mean, the functional aspect and the phenomenal aspect. Yeah, they are not mutually exclusive. They kind of intersect together. Sometimes we use two term to identify these two things is to don't make reader confused or don't make others confused. For example, if I say I consciously I conscious of my heartbeat, that means that my attention is focusing on my heartbeat. That is the functional aspect. And then another thing is I conscious red. That is the redness So that means that I am referring the phenomenal aspect of the consciousness. So I prefer to use this kind of distinction to distinguish that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
For clarification. Yep.
Okay, so the times is there, and thank you all for coming. That's it's great discussion. I will stop recording now.